fucking hell if you're going to start talking about non-sentient animals having wills. They are programmed. We can see the programming in them. It's obviously not free. It's obviously they don't have any conscious experience. A microorganism does not will itself to chase the sun. Okay, it chases it through a mechanical process. It has nothing to do with will whatsoever. It has to do with the fact that. Well, I'm sorry. I mean, a leaf does not bend. A leaf does not bend because it wills it, Pyro.
You have to let me say my side.
Well, I'm sorry. You got to let me finish. I was the one talking. You were the one who interrupted me. I'm the one talking here. There's no will built into. You can't sit there and call it will if you're going to sit there and separate from consciousness, number one, because that's the whole definition of the word for me altogether. It's a psychological phenomenon. You have to have a psychology to have will. So if you're going to use the word to describe the behavior of a leaf, when it bends towards the sun because the molecules on one side of the leaf contract and the molecules on the other side expand or relax, and if you're going to call that will because it mechanically functions, I cut my damn pinky off and it can do some twitching. If you're going to call it willing itself to twitch, I mean, fuck that. The word's blown up. The word doesn't mean anything anymore.
It doesn't mean anything the way you've defined it because you don't think it exists. I don't think it exists the way you've defined it. So, you know, what's the point of sticking with words like that? Once you decide a word was pointless, then it was like a theory, you know, that sound is up for grabs if somebody else wants to use it.
Sound. Okay, now here we go. For fuck, stop there. That's Professor
look,
Anton.
No, were you talking this time too? Look, bullshit. Will is a phenomenon. In science, you don't stick with one idea of a concept. That's just not how science works. You think it's Professor Anton? Well, he doesn't seem that scientific to me, but fine. You know, you have to zero in on a phenomenon that's unexplained. Will is entirely unexplained physically, period. So you want to set the definition with that amount of knowledge?
Like I said, there's no point in having this conversation, Pyro. You might as well be talking out of theological crap. Okay, I'll get everybody in the room. Let's have a poll. You know, how many people have a definition of will that includes the behavior of microorganisms? How many people associate the word will with the behavior of a leaf on a tree? I mean, I'm sorry, Pyro, but I think if we ask 100 people, we're going to get 99 people are going to say no. Will has nothing to do, okay, with the mechanical processes that cause a leaf to turn towards the sun.
So the fuck what? I can tell you a bunch of other truths you get 99 out of 100 wrong, too, people would.
Well, I'm just saying the word is broken. That's my argument to you, okay? If you're going to use the word and say this is not what the word is associated with, this is not its definition, I am describing something completely different, then what?
No, it's the same
a broken fucking word. Well, no, you can't sit there and use it when it doesn't, it has no, your definition is not recognizable, it's not compatible with logic. It breaks the logic to use your, if I would not say what I say if I was about will if I had your definition of the word. So it's completely broken.
That's right. So, well, but you're saying will doesn't exist, so I think it's pretty broken to stick using a word for thousands of years that we all know is fucking useless.
Well, I'm not saying it's a useless word. Like I said, what I'm saying is I can't communicate with you using the word. 99 people out of 100.
Well, you could. I could continue to explain.
Because we still have a consistent definition of what will is, which is a psychological phenomenon. All right? It requires consciousness. It does not take place in non-sentient
But it's like you saying.
creatures.
But it's like saying that the sun is a thing pulled across the sky by a fire chariot, and then you find out, but there are no fire chariots in the sky, therefore the sun doesn't exist.
You can do that forever about everything. You could always sit there and pretend that somehow we have this profound ignorance. We don't have ignorance. We have case study after case study. We have Pavlov dog case studies, okay? There's no grand, huge, giant mystery about this will thing. And that's what I'm pointing out is yeah, we have broken it down. We can break it down. We can see in our own psychology the mechanisms at work, the competing desires, and that through the subconscious running of the programs, one of them wins, and that becomes our will.
Yeah, but I don't think that it's determined which one wins. I think because we have conscious way one or another.
It's why a leaf fucking grows. That is the will. It wills.
We. Who's the we doing the weighing? There's no
the
we
champions.
weighing. There's a brain running software.
Billion neurons.
Okay, and the brain does it. That's right, and it doesn't do it in our consciousness. It does it subconsciously, and it is goddamn straightforward mechanical process. You can keep pretending going on there, but do as consider the question in your consciousness and come to a conclusion. No, your brain runs it all in your subconscious, and it gives you your conclusion.
Well, see, if you believe in choice, of a living organism can make choices to move to the left and eat the food on the left or on the right through competing desires, that
Well, look, making choices through competing desires. Again, the real question is what is the nature of the choice? My argument to you is there was no choice. There was a decision made based on who had the stronger punch, which theme or principle had owned more neurons and was able to get to the finish line first in our brain.
But the thing is,
way
that's
our brain
exactly
was
what
programmed.
happens.
There's a winner and a loser, and there's going to be no such thing as choice. The brain will decide, but there will not be choice.
But the thing is, so we have systems that appear to make choices and systems that don't. And the one is dead and the other is living. So if it's not really choices that make that distinction, how do you make that distinction in a technical sense? What is the difference between life and non-life?
Well, I think it's just preposterous to talk about life and non-life in the idea of choices, because goddamn trees do not make choices, microorganisms do not make choices, an algae, a single-cell paramecium or something does not make choices. So it's just stupid. The definition of a living thing is something that replicates itself. Okay, well, you can say it does.
You don't believe anybody makes choices. You don't believe anybody
that whatsoever
makes choices.
Not one
Gary.
tiny bit of evidence of that. None. I don't know where that comes from. I don't even know how you get this.
Gary, you don't
like
think anything makes choices.
The molecules
one way.
feel now.
No, I could do this, and I could do it a couple different ways. No, not molecules, cells, but I could do it a couple ways. One way is you don't believe anything has a choice, but you're going to say only humans have this thing nobody has.
I never said only humans. Certainly an elephant has a will. I mean, most of the higher mammals have wills. Other animals. But a fucking central nervous system. You don't have a will without a nervous system, without a brain. Where will is not a function of decapitated toe.
Kill them all!
Gary, you're distinguishing lower organisms' lack of a will.
Well, maybe the will is something. That is something that life is. That is.
Whatever. I look again. Argue what I argue. Okay. If you got an argument to say, well, this is why you're wrong about that, Jerry. Again, no, that's not what. Again, why? You're just making the same fucking bullshit argument. I'm just gonna kick you out of the room if that's all you got. All right. You
Don't kick
counter
him.
my argument with something
Come on.
specific argument. This idea that you just. You say what you say, I say what I say. You say what I say, and repeat it. Why repeat your goddamn self?
The will that we have
against what?
That's us burned beyond the will.
What? What? So you have a will to go. You have a will before she has AIDS. You say, okay, well, there's a risk. So now I'm going to evaluate what my choice is here. Okay, I got a risk that I'll get AIDS, but I want to have sex. And you're going to call one of those a will and one of those something you have power against? No, they're both fucking wants. They're both a want not to have AIDS and a want to have sex. Those two things, they put it out, and whatever comes out as the outcome, your will. Okay, so if you decide not to have sex, you will say, I willed myself not to get a disease. And if you do decide to have sex, you'll say, I willed myself to overcome my fear and get myself a piece of candy. I mean, this is just bullshit that there's a will that exists before the choice. There's no will before the choice. There's only will after it's made. How is that? What problematic from the point of view of will? I don't. You have to. What's the rest of that? Ugh, Remy. Let's see what else is in there. They didn't say anything else. Oh, but the point is, has anyone successfully explained consciousness yet? If not, then how can one presume? Well, look, we can't explain consciousness exactly how it's meant. We can understand what sentience is. This desire mechanism. The want mechanism. The pain and pleasure mechanism.
That is what? Because you want to fuck and you want to procreate and you want to reproduce and you're fighting. The reason says I'm not gonna fucking do this shit.
That's a desire. So you're going to now.
I'm fucking reason. And
all desires are a will. All desires are will. All fear, all thing is will. I mean, that's just a pile of shit.
That sets us apart from fucking everything.
Oh, fuck off. I've had my fill of you.
That was great. He got up from his chair and left just as you kicked him. It's like leaving. From his chair and left just as you kicked him. It's like leaving.
Yeah. Well, whatever. I mean, I just wish people would address the fucking point. Where in what I've described is there some sort of, no, that doesn't make any sense at all. Point that part out. I'm just sick of this bullshit. You just keep repeating the same crap. Oh, the will is what your choice is your choice, but you choose not to choose your choice. Will was fighting your choice. Fuck. Yeah, we have to say more than that, Remy. But anyway, this consciousness thing is only made up of two faculties. The one to feel and the one to scheme or think or do logical processing.